Hi, I'm Colin. Welcome to Learn Somatics. In today's video, I'm going to show you how you can string together movements, somatic movements, to address a particular problem. In this instance, we're going to get into sciatica. So I'm going to show you an example of some movements that you can do in a sequence to help alleviate the discomfort and pain of sciatica. So hopefully this is going to help you out. It's not going to be the only way you can approach sciatica, but it'll give you an idea of what's involved in sort of trying to address these problems for yourself. So for the first movement, knees bent, feet flat, on our back. We're going to lay out flat. With sciatica, you've got impingement on the sciatic nerve usually, and there'll be some pain radiating down the leg. So what we want to do with this sequence of movements is we want to release the lower back, the waist, even up the pelvis a little bit, and also relax the backs of the hips as well, those muscles that are in and around that sciatic nerve in the buttock. So hopefully by addressing all those areas, we can reduce our symptoms and make everything feel more comfortable. So the first thing we're going to do is release the lower back using the arch and flatten movement. So you can place your fingers just on the front of the bony part of your hip here. And all we're going to do is we're going to press our tail down, rolling the pelvis towards the heels, towards the feet. We're making an arch with our lower back. The back is lifting, the low back is lifting off the table. And then we're going to slowly relax, let that come back down. To rest. We're going to do about 5 of these. Arching the back, pressing the tail down. Getting nice and clear that we're contracting our back muscles, our low back muscles. And then very slowly letting those muscles relax, softening out the back. And again, you can inhale on the arch. And then you can exhale on the relaxation phase as the back comes back down to the table or to the floor. You just do 2 more of those, arching. And when you're coming back down to the floor, when your back is coming down, when you're relaxing, see how smooth you can come down. Take your time and make the descent as smooth as you can. All the way to rest. And we'll do 1 last repetition. Make sure we've got control and it's smooth. Arching and then slowly relaxing all the way back to rest. So that's our arch and flatten. That movement allows us to release the muscles in the lower back, reduce the tension there. Okay, so next we're going to get a little bit more into the sides of the trunk and a little bit into the QLs. We're going to stay in this position. We're going to do a hip hiking movement. So you can keep your fingers on the bony part of your hips so you can feel what's happening. And you're going to begin to, I'll start with this left side, we're going to draw our left hip towards our chin, essentially. Sort of trying to direct your front of your left hip towards your chin. You can keep your back basically flat. And you'll feel some tension in your waist, low back, and then just slowly relax back to rest. Now, if you're finding this uncomfortable, just back up on the effort or make the movement a little bit smaller. Or you can just visualize even and you'll still get some benefit. So let's repeat that. We're going to draw the left hip in the direction of our chin. Just going to slide it upwards. And you'll feel how that creates some tension in your waist. You're using those waist muscles, your QLs a little bit. And then you're slowly relaxing those same muscles to rest. And we'll repeat that 1 more time. Hip to chin, or front of this bony bit here directed towards our chin. And then slowly relax to rest. Okay, now let's do the same thing on the other side. So this time I'm going to draw the right hip toward my chin. And it feels slightly different on this side. That's quite normal. Most people will have a little asymmetry. And particularly if you have a sciatica, you probably do. And then slowly relax to rest. And repeat, just drawing that hip toward our chin. You'll feel you're kind of hiking your hips, tipping up and down. Slowly relax. As I was saying, just keep the movement nice and easy, nice and small. Drawing this right hip towards your chin. And you'll feel that this side, the opposite side, lengthens out a bit as you draw the hip to the chin. And then slowly release back to rest. Okay, so we're starting to get a feel for how we can move the hips up and down and how we can arch and flatten the back. Now we're going to alternate between the sides here. So we're going to go left side hip toward chin, right side hip toward chin. And notice how when you draw the left side up, the right side moves away. And when you draw the right side up, the left side moves away. And you just go back and forth like that about 2 or 3 more times. And you see my head is kind of lilting side to side with this, so you can allow that to happen. So it just makes the whole movement a bit more full body. You're getting all the way up your spine with it now. One side of your hip goes to the chin, the other moves away. This is a nice movement. It's going to free up your waist and your back. Just a little bit. Okay. And last time, left side up, right side away. Okay. So we've relaxed the low back a bit and we've relaxed the waist a little bit. Let's lie it flat and see how that feels. Okay, so if you've done that correctly, taking your time, going nice and slow, you should feel that your low back and your waist feel a bit softer, more open, just more comfortable generally. So we've addressed there the low back and the waist from this position. Next up, we're going to go onto our front and we're going to do the same thing but lying on our front. So let's change position now. So we're going to lay on our front with our head turned to one side. I'm going to turn towards the camera. You can have your hands just either side of your head, like so, and your head resting on the ground. So now we're going to hike our hips up and down in this prone position, this lying on our front. So let your head rest down, and if you need to use your hand actually on one of your hips, it'll help you feel what's happening. I'm going to draw my hip toward my armpit, essentially on this side, like so. Again, you'll feel a little tightness in your waist, and the other hip moves away, and then slowly release. We'll just do that a couple of times, drawing the right side hip up toward the armpit, and then slowly release. And allow your legs to just be at rest when you do this. You're just drawing one hip up toward the armpit, you'll feel the other one move away. Slowly release. We're just gently starting to get the pelvis moving again, using all those muscles in our lower back and waist. Draw it up to the armpit on the right side and then slowly release. And we do that one last time. And slowly release. Okay, so now we're going to do the same thing on the other side. So we're going to draw the left side hip towards the left armpit. And again, just notice if it feels different one side to the other. And then slowly release. We're doing these nice, controlled, small, easy movements. Left side hip to left armpit. Slowly relaxing back to rest. And noticing how as we draw the left side hip to the left armpit, the right side hip moves away from the right armpit. So we're re-establishing this ability to draw the hips up and down. Just going to free up all the lower back muscles and the QLs and the waist as well. Going to create more space in your low back and waist. One last time, left hip to left armpit, and then slowly relax. Okay, now we're going to alternate back and forth a little bit. So we're going to go right hip up, slowly relax, left hip up, slowly relax, right hip up, slowly relax, and go back and forth like this, and just see if you can make this feel easy. Just a nice, easy back and forth, up and down of your hips. And make it nice and smooth. You can make the movement small, that's fine, as long as you're getting a little bit of feeling, as long as you can feel what's happening in your lower back and your waist, get a sense of your hips going up and down. You'll see my legs are moving, but they're nice and relaxed. I'm not actually putting any effort through my legs. As the hips go up and down, I'm sort of pushing and pulling the legs up and down because they're attached to the hips essentially. This is all coming from my low back and waist. It's all from my trunk. Okay, and come to rest. Now if you need to change your head position when you're doing that, to turn it to the other side, that's fine. But that's essentially hip hiking in the prone position. So now that we've relaxed the hips, the waist a little bit in this position, we're going to get a little more into the back of the hips now. What we're going to do, I'm going to start with the left leg here. We're just going to lift the left leg a little bit into the air.
And you're going to feel this in the back of your leg, the back of your hip, and into your lower back. So now we're extending the hip and extending the leg a little, and then we're going to come down nice and slow, smooth as we can, back to rest, and pause. So this is going to relax more of our back and the back of our hip as well. Let's do this 3 times, just gently picking up the leg. Feel the tension in the buttock and the low back, and then slowly come down. And you can moderate how much you lift. If it's difficult, you can just lift a little bit. Just make sure you can feel the tension in the back of the hip and back of the leg, back of the low back, and then slowly come down. And we'll do just one more, like so. And smooth as you can to rest. Okay, now we want to do the same thing on the second side leg. So we did left leg while we were looking to the right. You're probably want to look to your left when you do the right leg. So let's do that now. So now the head is to the left. We're just going to gently lift the right leg. Again, you're going to feel this in your low back, your buttocks, the back of your leg. And then come down nice and slowly. You don't have to lift high. It's more important that you can feel what's happening in the back of the body. Gently lifting the leg, feeling the buttock contract, and then coming down as smoothly as you can to complete rest. I'm going to do 2 more of those, just lifting the leg, slowly coming down. Complete rest at the bottom. Last time, lifting that right leg, feeling the engagement of the low back, buttocks and back of the leg, and then coming down as smoothly as we can, completely relaxing all of those muscles that lift the leg all the way to rest. Okay, so now we're really starting to get some good relaxation into the low back and the lower body and the hips. So we can get a little bit more focused on getting into those deeper muscles in the buttocks now. So we're going to start with this leg here, and you're going to let your legs be a little wider apart. And then you're going to bend this leg. And actually, if you have your hand on your buttock, you're going to feel, as soon as you bend the leg, you'll feel some activity. You'll feel some muscles working a little bit in your buttock. And from here, you're going to imagine your lower leg is like a windscreen wiper blade. And you're going to keep your fingers underneath your hip in the front, and keeping your hip more or less down on the floor, you're going to make a windscreen wiper action with your leg. You don't have to go crazy with this, just keep it nice and moderate. Just get a feel for rolling your thigh bone so that your lower leg moves like a windscreen wiper blade. And just go back and forth to the degree you're comfortable. And this is going to help you start to feel and release and contract and relax those muscles in your buttock, deep in your buttock, that actually rotate the leg. If you put your hand here, you'll feel very clearly there's some muscle action going on. So we're going to go back and forth like this about 5 or 6 times. Just take your time. It doesn't have to be a big movement. We're just trying to re-establish some control of these rotator muscles in the hip. Okay. So the hip stays more or less down, and the rolling is of the thigh. See, it's the thigh bone that's rolling. Your lower leg isn't really doing anything. It's moving because of what you're doing with your hip and thigh. Okay. And from there, that should be plenty. And you can just let your leg relax down again. So obviously we want to do that on the second side. So we'll just turn our head to the second side now, to the left, and repeat. We're going to put our left hand under the front of our left hip. We're going to bend the left leg, and keeping our hips square on the table, we're going to windscreen wiper our left leg as well. You may only have an issue on one side, but you want to do both sides so that you can re-establish good control over both hips. So you're just going to windscreen wipe that leg in and out, rolling your thigh bone back and forth on the floor, sending your lower leg inward and then outward. And pay attention to what you feel deep in your buttock. You'll feel the action of this movement in your buttock. And that's what you want. You want to be able to feel that going in and out. If you need to make it smaller, that's fine. Just take your time, go nice and slow, and you'll start to feel it. And if one side has more movement than the other, that's totally fine. You just work with what you've got. You just make it your intention to use these muscles in your buttock to do the action. Keeping the hips square and just windscreen wiping that lower leg back and forth like a wiper blade. And about half a dozen times should be enough to start to feel what's happening. And then you can let your legs straighten out again and pause.
So once you've done that, you can come back onto our back like so. We've worked into the low back, the waist and the backs of the hips quite a bit there. Lay out flat and see how that feels. That should be starting to feel quite a bit more comfortable through the back of your body, through the back of your hips, the back of your legs. So just to finish this off, we want to go a little bit into flexion now that we've relaxed the back a little bit. So we're going to bend the legs again. We're going to put the hands behind the head. And in this position, we're going to arch the back again like we were doing at the beginning. And then we're going to slowly release, let the back flatten. And we're just going to pick up the head a little bit, letting the back flatten into the table, curling forward a little bit. And then slowly coming on down. Just going to do this 3 or 4 times, arching, pressing the tail down, slowly relaxing, letting the back flatten as we curl up just a little bit. You'll feel your belly tenses up when you do this. You're pressing your back down into the floor. And you slowly just relax all efforts. Come back to rest. And then one last time, arching, slowly relaxing, and intentionally flattening and curling up just a bit. So we're just lengthening out the back a little bit now that we've relaxed it a bit more. And then slowly back to rest. So we're going to do one last movement just to kind of re-establish some better control of the hips and legs now that we've relaxed everything. And we're going to let our feet be wide apart, like so. Something like that. And we're going to allow the knee to just tip in and let the hip roll up on this side. So we're going hip rolls up, knee tips in. Just go to whatever degree is comfortable and then roll your pelvis back to the floor and then let the other side knee tip in and the other side hip lift up. And you're going to go back and forth like this for about a minute. Just nice and easy, nice and slow. Think about rolling your pelvis left and right to help you tip the knee in. And this is just going to help to re-establish good coordination of the hips and the legs. It's going to make your walking feel better as well. This is walking 1 exercise. Rolling back and forth across the back of the pelvis to tip the knee in. So no straining. It's not about touching your knee to the floor. That doesn't really matter. It's about re-establishing your ability to roll the pelvis forward and back, or to the left and to the right. Okay. Do 1 more left and right. That feels really good through the back of the body. And pause there. Lay out flat and see how that feels. So if you've taken your time, go nice and slow, that should be feeling much, much better through the entire back of your body. You should feel closer to the floor. Your bum, backs of your legs, low back, everything should feel much softer and more comfortable. So if you've got sciatica, you can give this sequence a try. It's not the only way to address sciatica using somatic movements, but it's a good starting point. It'll help you kind of get a feel for what's going on and which muscle groups and areas you need to be releasing in order to get some relief. If you like this video, don't forget to like, comment and subscribe. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.